You hear about AI and jobs all the time, right? But it usually feels like some far-off, futuristic thing. Well, guess what? The future is now. There's a massive economic shift happening as we speak, and it's not on the horizon, it's already here. So, let's get into it.
So what's this giant number all about? Get this. That's the upper estimate for how many employees the chipmaking giant Intel is planning to lay off in 2025 alone. And why? They're making a huge pivot to focus everything on AI chip production. So this isn't about a bad quarter. It's a direct result of the AI revolution.
And you know what? Intel is not alone, not by a long shot. Just look at this slide. We're talking about household names, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, even Starbucks, all making major cuts to pour resources into AI. These are not small, abstract numbers. This is a clear, undeniable pattern happening right now across the biggest companies on the planet. Right, so this brings us to the first part of our breakdown. We're done with theories and what-ifs. We are looking at the hard, cold evidence of AI-driven job cuts that are happening today. And you might think, okay, that's a big tech thing, but no. According to the World Economic Forum, nearly half, 41%, of all companies are expecting to shrink their workforce because of AI. That's not a trend. That's a global recalibration of how we work. So, if this wave is already hitting the shore, which jobs are most at risk? Let's take a look at the roles that are right on the front line of this massive change. Here's the key thing to understand. AI is incredibly good at tasks that are structured and predictable. Things that follow a clear set of rules. We're talking data entry, processing forms, handling routine queries. The very jobs that are often the first step on the career ladder are the ones where automation is making its biggest, fastest impact. And this is a perfect example that we've all experienced. Think about the last time you used a chatbot to track a package or get a simple question answered. Every single one of those interactions is a task that used to be handled by a person. For a lot of businesses, this isn't some future goal. It's just how they operate now. Okay, so far, this all sounds pretty grim, I know. But the story of AI and work is actually way more complicated than just jobs disappearing. We've got to look at this from another angle. So let's ask the question directly. Are we only seeing one side of the coin here? Is AI just about replacing people, or is there something else going on? This slide really breaks it down. You've got two big forces at play. On one side, displacement. That's when AI takes over a human's job. But on the other, you've got augmentation, where AI becomes a powerful tool that helps a human do their job even better, making them more productive. It's the difference between a robot replacing a factory worker and a graphic designer using an AI to brainstorm ideas in seconds. Now, check this out. This heat map is fascinating because it shows you both things happening at once. See all that blue? In areas like office support or food prep, that's displacement. But then, look at all that red in business, the arts, engineering. In those fields, AI is a massive help. It's augmenting what people can do. It's not a simple one-size-fits-all story. But even with all this augmentation, some thinkers are still sounding the alarm. The historian Yuval Noah Harari throws out a really serious challenge. He basically asks, as AI gets smarter and smarter, what new jobs will be left that humans can actually do better? He warns about the possibility of a useless class. But here's the big pushback on that idea, and it's a powerful one. As Nabil Abid-Badi points out, our whole economic system needs one thing: consumers. If machines make everything but nobody has a job or an income, well, who's going to buy all that stuff? It's like a snake eating its own tail. It just doesn't work. And this whole debate really boils down to one fundamental question. Where do we, as humans, still have the upper hand? Well, for now, the answer seems to be creativity. And hey, this isn't just a gut feeling. The data is pretty stunning. A major study found that a whopping 87% of highly creative jobs in the UK and 86% in the US have little to no risk of being automated. Jobs that need real imagination and original thinking seem to be in a league of their own. So here's the bottom line. Our real value isn't just about solving problems. It's about creating meaning. An AI can crunch numbers like nobody's business, but it's not going to invent a new philosophy or write a myth that shapes a culture or dream of a better world. That, for now, is all us. Okay, so understanding the problem is step one, but what do we actually do about it? This isn't something that's just going to happen to us. We have to actively decide what this AI-powered future is going to look like.
So, what's the game plan? Well, experts point to a three-pronged approach. First, we've got to prepare people for these changes with continuous learning and new skills. Second, we have to make sure the incredible wealth AI creates gets shared broadly, not just hoarded at the very top. And third, we absolutely have to strengthen our social safety nets to help people get through the turbulence. Now, one of the biggest and most debated ideas for that safety net is something called Universal Basic Income, or UBI. It's a pretty radical idea, but what happens when you actually try it out in the real world?
You have to hear about this experiment in Kenya. A study gave thousands of people a small daily payment, no strings attached. And the big fear was, oh, they'll all just stop working. But the exact opposite happened. A ton of people used that little bit of security to quit their low-paying jobs and start their own businesses. And because they left the labor pool, wages actually went up for the jobs that were left. It became a launchpad for entrepreneurship, not a hammock.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. AI is here. It is going to define our economy and our world. That part isn't up for debate. The real question, the one that matters, is how we choose to shape that change. Will we build a world of displacement and inequality, or one of augmentation and shared prosperity? That choice is still ours to make.